Good Saturday evening. Welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkie Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs. We are here working on logistics. We got new lighting in the studio. We just trying to get our backgrounds together, but we are here, joined by the one, the only, People's Choice Don Rodriguez. How you feeling tonight? Well, the Nubian Sumo is on special assignment tonight. Well, he on special assignment, helping the people of the world out in their time of crisis. So you got to fill in for him tonight. What you being powered by?
Not a goddamn thing.
Not even a Rock Creek grape soda?
I'm just looking around trying to find something. I ain't got nothing. I'm thirsty.
Well, I will say this. I'm thirsty too. Man, we got a show chock full of goodness tonight. Let's start it off hot and heavy. Brock Lesnar has been going around to higher ups and people in WWE saying he's wrapping up with WWE. People's Choice, I'm throw this to you. Your opinion on this? Do you think it's finally over and done with for Brock and WWE?
He old and tired. He don't feel like doing it no more. What does he need to prove? He's rich. Like stupid rich.
Is it WWE money though? That's the question.
Oh, nobody else can afford him. Don't even try to think. Well, maybe Tony. No, his daddy ain't ponying up that much money. Because the moment Brock goes over there and starts negotiating that contract, but like, hey Shad, this is how much I want. He's like, that's more than what WWE paid you. Yep. And if you want me, you're gonna have to pay this. Shad ain't paying that.
Nah.
Not with WWE. And the next crown jewel can double what Shad could offer.
Depending on who the new owners of WWE is, I think anybody can double what he's gonna offer because the money that's about to be spent for WWE alone is going to be astronomical.
A couple $1 billion. Anybody buying that no time soon.
Hey. But the rumor came out and I wondered, I said, well, if he's done with it, because they were talking about his next potential feud and they suggested Bray Wyatt. He said, I don't see any. No, I don't want Bray. I don't see any reason for me and Bray to have a feud, is what he said, and not so many words.
Bray, it'd be unrealistic, even if Bray no-sold a couple, spears or whatever a couple times. Bray can't no-sell a whole match with Brock Lesnar. Can't do it. Brock can take Bray. That's without question. Without question. So it wouldn't be believable. And Brock isn't, unless Brock wants to broaden his acting chops in preparation for a role and he's trying to go Hollywood, doing any type of imaginative, crazy stuff is unnecessary for him, in my opinion. You can tell me what you think about it, but, Bobby Lashley, yeah, it'll work. Because, Bobby can, broaden his horizons, but Brock don't need to.
But here's my thing. Do you say acting? Do you really want to see Brock Lesnar act? Brock is a brawler. I don't see him acting.
It out there, like because what else is left for him to do? He's not going to go back to UFC or Bellator. For what? He's older. You got some younger people that is going to choke him out. So they're not going to stand and bang. The days of the Chuck Liddells and Ryan Baders and Anderson Silvas, those days are gone. MMA and UFC has really moved away from, in my opinion, the standard strike to you spend a lot of time on your back or in transition. So, Brock is a standing banger.
Yeah, because he can't ground fight to save his life. He can't fight off his back.
With some strong, Eddie Gracie, or anybody relatively with some sense coming out of the Gracie school is going to shoot on him, take his leg, and tap him out.
And Raj, first of all, welcome family. Glad to have you in here. And he says, Omos ain't the answer either. And I agree with that, Raj. I agree.
Well, we all know that's
100%.
a Vince call. We all know it's a Vince call. And WrestleMania and a Giant, they go hand in hand. So I'll give Vince that one because when's the last time we had a true giant that at least would be a challenge for Brock? I'm not saying move for move because Brock isn't catch as catch can either, but just size, you know, that would be the sell. From
Well, it's the
from
big show.
now, what's now Big Show is almost bigger than the Big Show.
Yeah, but Omos don't have the talent that the big show has.
Well, the Big Show could talk. Older
Big Show could deliver a
WCW
drop
work.
kick
Yeah,
at
that's what I
7
said.
foot,
Older.
500 pounds.
And what was the first thing he said? Undertaker told him, "You better not ever do that again, because that's not what you're there for.
I
You shouldn't be doing kip ups and drop kicks and spears and all that. That's what Taker told him. You're a big man. You need to wrestle like a big man."
and what's crazy is it wasn't his first match. It was the very first SmackDown. Don't believe me? Go look at it on YouTube. I still got it on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
And I was stunned to see because I didn't watch him. I didn't watch the Giant very much in WCW, but I always watched him in WWE, whatever you want to call it. When he drop kicked Test on that very first SmackDown episode back in 1999, I had never seen a man that big get up. But I want to say we were talking. I want to say it was Perry, Raj, and everybody else, and Nubian Sumo, and they were telling me that Andre the Giant back in the day could pull off a drop kick just as well.
Yeah.
And I was like,
They got
what?
the power. It's just not necessary. Omos is never going to do that.
But the thing is, they were talking during the match. They were talking about, and this was Cornette and JR. And they were talking about how big his hands were. You could pass $1 through his ring. He wears a 26 triple E, and then he pulls off this move. And I'm like, yeah, you're not seeing that anywhere else. But now on the flip side, if you had the opportunity to do it with the Big Show, Paul White, whoever you want to call him, Brock never had the reason to pull off a shooting star press, but he did it against Angle. And I felt that was unnecessary. Damn near broke his freaking neck.
And yet they want to yell at Top Dollar or talk bad about Top Dollar, but they forget about Brock. Or they forget about every time Lita goes up, I get scared.
Yeah.
Lord knows, every Lita assault is like, oh my God, I don't think she's going to get up from that one. That's worse than a flying headbutt.
Yeah. And Harley Race said he was sorry he ever invented that.
Nah, I doubt. I mean, if done correctly, it can be, it could be a good move, but it's how you land.
Yeah,
but if you land on your shoulder, then your head is cushioned and protected. But if you land head first, that's the problem. Now Benoit, because his neck was just so swollen and chiseled, he would be landing on it flush. So his weight and inertia was evenly distributed because of the way he was built.
Well, look at how it did the Dynamite Kid. It put him in a wheelchair before he was gone.
Yeah, but Dynamite Kid wasn't as swollen as Benoit was.
And the Midnight Rider chimed in. He said Lita missed a move in a tag team match, a tag title match Monday.
Yeah, Lita's, to her credit, she's not, in ring shape. So, that's going to be some timing issues. Plus, you got to think about it. How many people have wrestled Lita that was in that match? One, to the best of my knowledge. And she was on her team. So, it's just, I was telling somebody about this at work. The sucky thing about social media, because social media has killed a couple things, is that house shows are dead.
Yes.
So the purpose of the house show is not to, travel to the town and just let people see you. from the WWE perspective. The purpose of the house show was for them to rehearse in real time and get real reactions, kind of like a movie screening or pre-screening and all that stuff, and work out the kinks, work out different finishes. It used to be back in the '90s, the last 10 cities that they went to before WrestleMania, they did the same. They did WrestleMania. So if you went to a house show, in Baltimore before or wherever you may be before WrestleMania, 9 out of 10 you saw the main event, at least three of them, and it may have been a different finish, but you couldn't be like, yo man, I saw the ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, or whatever. I'm just making something up. And then who you gonna tell but the people at the water cooler? So the
That's
next
true.
town, in the next state or whatever, they tried a different finish. So by the time they got to Mania, they wrestled so much that it's just clicking, bang, 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 and then they say, all right, we're gonna go with this finish before they walk out of Gorilla. They're good. But now there's no time for Lita to wrestle somebody on the road at a house show because it's going to be on the internet.
That's true.
So, spoiler alert, there you go. So, what are the only thing they can do for spoiler alert? Have Trish come out.
Yeah.
And it was smart because at Canada, I was expecting to see her. Not in Canada, what the heck are you doing there? So, but I mean, you kind of figured out once you ran out, like, well, that makes sense. But it's really hard to do that stuff. So yeah, that's why she's gonna miss moves because she's got to do this on live television, and she only has technically Mondays to get it right before you get to WrestleMania. So they're gonna wrestle one on one. They got a singles match. She's gonna have to do. They may do a triple threat with Trish to get her some ring shape, and then they'll do if you beat us, then you'll be able to contend for the championship for WrestleMania. So then they'll lose that one, and then whatever. So that way she can get used to EO and Dakota.
Well,
But
let
other than
me
that,
ask you.
you're gonna have some spots. Same thing with Omos and Brock. It's not gonna be pretty. It's
Oh
gonna
no.
be a stang and bang, and this is my house, and a couple spears. You're gonna take a choke slam, and then Brock's gonna F5 him, or new hurt business, and Brock's gonna lose.
Let me ask you this. If Brock is on his way out and he's telling everybody he's finishing up, do you give him the farewell tour? Not the farewell tour of Kurt Angle, because I thought that was a dirty way for him to go out. Do you give him the farewell tour that he deserves as the former face of the company?
The
The
only way
very
you can
first Universal Champion.
a Brock farewell tour is for him to win the belt and then retire as the champion.
Do you give it to
I
him?
know that's unwrestling like, but it would be a waste of my time to watch Brock, wrestle this person and wrestle that person and wrestle this person for what? Because Brock Lesnar is an attraction. He's not a every Monday thing. We've been there, done that. We're retired that.
Mm.
So plus, is there really a such thing as a retirement when we're gonna see you in Saudi Arabia?
Maybe you
Because
might
if the
see him
check
in
is
Saudi
right,
Arabia.
if the check is right, and there's an extra zero added, he'll be there. Why not? Goldberg was, Shawn Michaels was, $1 Million Man was right. Everybody's got a price.
I get it.
So
Now, speaking of farewells and retirements, great segue there. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Goldberg says he deserves a retirement match. He said, I sold my soul to the devil and I deserve a retirement match in return. So, if that's the case, because, Goldberg has been all over the news, certain things he said about Rihanna, which I really didn't care for too much. But,
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Rihanna did a good job, but my first thought is, and they complained about Janet. Chloe, I will beat you if you do ever do that again.
I am so sorry.
Sorry, I said it on live TV. Oh, they started doing a Rihanna dance. Like,
but here's the thing. She didn't do anything wrong. Oh, she rubbed her crotch and smelled her fingers. We talked about that on the Sunday Rise. Or
no,
Tuesday
no,
Night
that,
Flight. We talked about
no,
that. But I'm like, hold on.
that was softcore, man. It was borderline softcore.
Here's my thing. And I'm going to say the same thing I said on that show. We watched Michael Jackson rub his crotch for how long? and nobody complained. Somebody was like, "Well, look what Michael Jackson was." I said, "Yeah, he was a great entertainer." No, look at what he was.
I can't compare those two. I can't.
Then it's
It's not
when
the
do
same.
we?
It's not
Before
the
we get
same.
into this Goldberg thing, when do we
No,
become so sensitive as a
no,
society?
I'm not sensitive to it. I'm
Not
just
you,
making
not
a point.
you,
You
not
know,
you.
because I
But when do
believe
we
in
become so
artistic
sensitive?
freedom. I'm just saying that, you know, I could tell you when. You figure out the first day Twitter went live. That's when. It's not Instagram's fault. It's Twitter's fault. When Twitter went
Here's my
live
thing.
and the first company changed their mind because of the massive tweets, that's when it all went to crap.
Here's my thing. She quote unquote rubbed her crotch and smelled her fingers for that
That's
Super Bowl show.
that's
But
but that's
however,
not the only thing. She did
oh,
more than that.
okay. However, it's okay for a sitting president to do an interview and say, "Yeah, I just grabbed him right by the pussy," and nobody bats an eye. So he admits the sexual assault. Nobody bats an eye. She allegedly rubs her crotch and smells her fingers. Well, she was doing a fresh test. I didn't give a damn. I was more concerned with what song she was going to do next. I guess I'm desensitized or whatever you want to call it, but I am not.
All I'm saying is, if she can do that, you can bring back Janet. That's all I'm saying for the Super Bowl terms. If she can get the green light to do that, you can bring back Janet.
And
Janet deserves one more.
I think
And
Janet
you
does
can let her
deserve
go
one more.
hand. Huh?
I think Janet does deserve one more because I was speaking to Janet. I was listening to Rhythm Nation, and I said it was nothing but bangers on this damn album. Like
That's
she could just perform Rhythm Nation and be fine.
that's the farewell tour that you need because somebody. I know it's gonna sound bad. Y'all can come at me, bro, if you want. Somebody need to check Beyonce and let her know she's not that. She's not the one.
No,
There's
no,
still
no,
one more out there
no.
that can put her back into the lane so that way she could get hungry again to produce and come out with some super mixes and collaborations and all that. She needs somebody to just remind her that you know what, if Janet came out and said, I'm gonna go on tour.
Well, Janet is on tour.
No,
Janet is
no,
on
let
tour
me
all
finish.
the time.
Let me finish. That's one thing. I'm gonna go on farewell tour. As soon as you put farewell in front of it, that means, you know what I'm saying, it's a national security issue. Everybody got to be there. I'm going to
Yeah,
do all 50 cities. And the most my tickets are going to cost, because she don't need the money, $500 for floor seats front row. Everything else, 100 down.
she
That's all
sold
she
out.
needs. That's
It's
all she
standing
needs to
room
do.
only. Everywhere she goes, it's standing room only.
Because at that point, then you look at Beyonce. So Janet just did it for 500. Your $500 seats is 15,000 for the same seat. This is Janet Jackson. We ain't know you say nothing else.
Mm.
She needs somebody to check her. Not saying she's doing anything wrong, but she needs somebody to just remind her of where she is in the hierarchy of greatest of all time, so that way she gets hungry again and starts, not focusing on, I just need to get a bunch of money and all this. You should be doing it for the art because you don't need the dollar. Where's the dollar going to?
Another sippy cup for Blue Ivy. I mean, she ain't even in sippy cups no more. Blue Ivy is what, 10, 12 years old?
Shoot, she's about to have Blue Ivy Darion pretty soon. Who knows what the heck? You know,
But
that's just my point because
I,
them tickets shouldn't be that much when I could go ahead and click on Netflix and watch you for free.
that's true.
And if I have 1,500 in my pocket, I can throw it all at the TV, pick it right back up.
And here's my thing. In my honest opinion, there is nothing at a Beyonce concert that I'm paying that much money for. Now, if you talking about going to see Prince, I'll pay $15K to go see Prince.
No,
I will
I want
mortgage
to
my
see Prince,
house.
but I ain't pay that much.
Man,
I can tell you that.
you're not going to.
And
Because Prince was smart.
And the seats were amazing. And Prince didn't charge that much.
No, Prince
I had
tickets
phenomenal seats. I
when he
posted
did
it on my Facebook. You'll see it.
what's that? The musicology tour. I think tickets were $65.
Mm-hmm.
But with that $65, you got the ticket plus the musicology album, and then you got some other merchandise that you also got. So for every ticket he sold the album unit. Even if you already had the album, he sold the album unit. Smart.
Because he had the
Smart.
message. Yep.
So he
But
sold, you might have bought the album twice.
and she's married to Jay-Z. So do you need what is the money going to? Blue Ivy is good. At that level, people are giving you stuff. You're not even paying for it.
Excuse me.
So,
but what is it that she does at her concert that's going to warrant me paying $15K? If you know what, let me tell you something.
Take it back because I know somebody may be like, "Well, the dancers and the rehearsals. How much was a Hammer ticket?
Shit, under $100
for a Hammer ticket, and that fool had 85 people on stage, maybe.
Yeah,
and all of them got paid.
Here's my thing. Nothing against Beyonce, but when it comes to concerts, only way I'm paying $15K to go to any concert, it has to be Michael Jackson, Prince, or Parliament Funkadelic got to be landing the mothership on the stage. If they not landing the mothership, I'm not doing $15K. And ain't nothing topping that.
As much as, respect to them, it wouldn't even be that. The only way I would pay $15K is the Tupac return tour. That fool ain't dead. He don't Machiavelli 23. Machiavelli 23. You know what I'm saying? He's like, remember that time the president grabbed the crotch? I'm like, what? What president are you talking about?
He was dead.
Yeah. My mama told me. like, come on, man. I'll pay for that. And I'm not talking hologram. I'm like, Pac really dead.
Yeah, I get you with that one.
Biggie dead, though. Biggie dead. I'm sorry. Rest in peace, Biggie dead. Puffy was crying too hard, when he fell off that motorcycle, We
would have cried too if I had something to do with it. But Goldberg retirement match.
So
who deserves to be the
I think he does deserve a good send off. Because he was injured, kind of, sort of, and blah blah blah, mad with the business. Come back at Saudi Arabia the first time, wasn't good. The second time was all right. You know what I'm saying? The third time was it's all right. But he needs one. But who he could face, because can't be Hogan.
Bret Hart. Have Bret Hart kick him in the head so Bret Hart can get over that. He can get over it.
Can do the run-in, but
just have Bret Hart come out, kick him in the head, and leave.
Edge
versus Goldberg.
Because I'm taking it back just for the baseline level of the spear. You had Goldberg's spear, and you had Edge's spear back in the day. They were the two rivals in spears.
Well, don't forget about Rhino's gore.
Yeah, but I look when Rhino does the gore, it's a different motion. That's just like a piston just wow hitting you, and you go down.
Okay.
Edge's spear has strong impact the way he put it in there. It's kind of like Bobby Lashley does now, which I'm a fan of his spear because the way he hits you and it does the roll, it just looks so impactful. No disrespect to Roman, but Roman's is just like a freight train. It just hits you and it just stops, and then you go down. But Bobby's that pow roll over type thing. But Edge's spear back in the day was pretty impressive, and then Goldberg's spear was just. That was just disrespectful at that point. Like, you don't want to get hit with that. He will destroy you. So, yeah, I would say Edge because they're legends, Hall of Famers. Goldberg can cut a promo. He can talk about the past, move for move, spear for spear. And Edge can cut a promo. He can bring back the conversation of grit and all that stuff. Kind of like what we're getting with Cody and Roman, but I would believe and want to see that. But Edge would have to go heel throughout the course of the transition of the lead up to this match, because I would want to see heel Edge. I want rated R superstar because I want him to rub Goldberg and storyline the wrong way with his son. I want his son to catch a spear. His son to get the concerto, with Beth helping. You know what I'm saying? I want all that in there. So that way Goldberg is going to take, go in there, take the win because of that match, because of, all the build up to it, old school build up. Brian Pillman coming over to your house build up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking right there. That's
Randy
exactly
Orton
what I
coming
was
to your
thinking.
house build up. Not
Oh,
the
don't.
Edge coming to Seth Rollins' house, or Seth Rollins going to Edge's house like, hey man, you got some nice furniture. Like, man,
No.
how many times Dominic have been to his house and ain't beat Rey Mysterio up to the point, or what I'm saying, hey mom, you're gonna have to get a smack from mommy tonight, something like that, something super egregious.
The ministry that
Been up
showed
a guy.
up outside of the McMahon house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all that
that
stuff.
type of thing.
Then I would believe it, and it could happen. Hint, hint. Listen up, WWE writers. Kind of
Oh,
book that.
that's going to be booked. I'm gonna let you know that now because you said it.
So we just laid down next year's WrestleMania.
So
Night
with
one.
that being said, can we get our checks early as opposed to not getting them at all? I like to get my check early.
Since we're not getting checks, just give us a ticket. You know what I'm saying? A ticket and a chair. I'll take the commemorative chair. I want the lanyard with the sparkly thing. I want full fan. I'm gonna take you back. Fan access. You know, not just go to the the convention center and walk around. I want fan access. I want all that. That's all we need. And we just show up there. We could do a quick little show, cut some things, and then have some fun.
I
You ain't
like
got to pay
that.
for that. Just give us a trip. At this point, give us a memory.
I like
But
that.
yeah, I'm in agreement with Goldberg. You may have to
Okay.
tweet that out. Like, hey Goldberg, you versus Edge. We laid down the foundation and figured it out. Edge, you're gonna have to go full on rated R superstar with this one from back in the day.
I wanted to ask you that question because I knew you were going to give me a good answer. Now, the thing is, I hadn't thought about it. Who would I put in that farewell match? I've sat here and I thought about it. I was like, who would I put in there? I said Bret Hart as a joke, but Bret Hart holds a real bad grudge against
And rightfully so.
Goldberg.
His career was ended.
Yes, and he talks. Every chance that I've seen him talk about it, he said how unsafe he is to work in the ring with. So
It's one thing to end somebody's career, and like, not please, Lord, don't let his career be ended. But what's his name from the Brawling Brutes and Big E? Big E still looks like Big E. He's swole. You know what I'm saying? You look like Big E could just still jump in the ring and do his thing. Bret Hart, after that injury, lost Bret Hart.
yeah,
And I think that's what is more troubling to Bret than anything. He went from excellence of execution, excuse me, pun intended, to heart attack, for the women and all that stuff, to an old guy.
yeah, because
Because
that's when
he physically couldn't do anything.
it was the concussion, then the stroke, and that was it.
And that's
Face
even
of
worse
the
than,
franchise.
well, no, I'm not going to say that. But it's more devastating to his overall
Really?
health than the Owen thing.
Yes, but
Because the
you
Owen
wouldn't
thing
call
was
him face of the
emotionally,
franchise? Are you serious?
huh?
Are you serious? You wouldn't call him face of the franchise?
No, I didn't say that. I said I'm going to say it a different way because the way I
Oh,
was going to say it would have come off as insensitive and stuff like that, and that's not what I mean or was mean to say. So I had to change what I was going to say. But yeah, the Owen Hart thing was gut wrenching and emotional, and you're hurting inside, but you're still Bret Hart,
right.
heavyweight WCW. But he lost Bret, and that's what he can't get over. He lost Bret. When he walks in there now, he's not Bret the Hitman Hart. He's not the same guy that I snuck around in the Baltimore arena to go down and get an autograph and said, "Hey man, you don't have to write nothing else on this cardboard piece of paper. Just write sharpshooter. That's all I need you to write, sharpshooter." And that's what he wrote. Still got
Do
that
you still
cardboard.
have it?
Yeah, hell yeah. He
Okay.
signed it, and then Kevin Nash signed it. Big Daddy Cool Diesel. And I
And
took a rose from the Undertaker's casket because it was Undertaker versus Yokozuna in the casket match that night. It wasn't a real rose naturally, but you know, real to me, goddammit.
yeah, I'll take that. And Rob says not in WCW at that time when I said face of the franchise for Bret Hart. And
they didn't know what to do with Bret Hart. He should have been.
I mean, I always
But
consider him face of the franchise, but they just kind of buried him after a while.
well, it's hard to show up when you have the NWO. If the NWO didn't exist, then you had a shot with Bret Hart.
But
But you had the
everybody was in the
NWO.
NWO at some point in time.
Say it again.
Everybody was in the NWO at some point in
Yeah,
time.
but the NWO, we were talking the original Wolfpack at that point, Black and White Express. That was so red hot that everybody went up against the NWO was going to lose. If it's not the match, it's going to be in the storyline, because the NWO was WCW. That
So
was it.
let me ask you and Raj this: who was the face of WCW at that time? Because I really didn't consider Hogan the face because he booked himself
Eric
to win
Bischoff.
all the time.
Eric Bischoff. I was watching a lot of times Nitro, Thunder, and whatever else they decided to put on for Eric Bischoff to come out. See him jump in the ring, smiling and all that. I love you people. And cut his promo.
And what's crazy is I still have major respect for Eric Bischoff, especially in the business. And
Yep.
Raj just chimed in. He said Bischoff too. That's the face
Yep.
of the franchise. I can't argue because you're right. You're right. The Midnight Rider say Sting, the anti-hero.
Become the face. He became the face of WCW because he was Daniel Bryan before Daniel Bryan existed. That they made you want Sting to be Sting,
But
to say something. How many weeks of just looking up and you see the Crow there, and that's all you get.
long before that,
the long term storyline building. So he was the face, but Bischoff was the guy.
long before they became WCW, when it was NWA. Now, this is my young 6-7-year-old mind. I thought Sting was the greatest thing since Egg White Omelet. I thought he was the best thing going. And he was the face of NWA, but he really wasn't. He wasn't the face of NWA. Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes. I don't get me wrong. I hated Flair as a kid. I loved him as an adult because I understood the business a little bit more. But Sting, it was all about the Stinger Splash, Scorpion Deathlock. That was it.
See, that time, that NWA for us is the equivalent of NXT 1.0 to the new generation. Because look how many, you just named several players right there, and you got to throw in people like Bam Bam Bigelow, Nikita Koloff, Ivan Koloff, Magnum TA, the only one still to this date that can put on a daggone STF properly. Ole Anderson, Arn Anderson. And the list goes on and on. We could just continue to name, some vets, from then, Harley Race, so many. And that's how, NXT 1.0 was. There was so many. I mean, it was just that graduating class with John Cena. Well, that was OVW then, but, and then you lead into NXT, proper. I mean, everybody that was anybody was just the best down there, men and women.
Yeah.
So,
and NXT 1.0, that's the only one that I think can rival that class of OVW with Batista as the what was Batista? Batista was the Leviathan, and John Cena as the prototype.
True version of John Cena, by the way. True version.
Yes. You had you had Brock Lesnar, Charlie Haas, and Shelton Benjamin.
Greatest tag team.
Yeah, you had those guys all coming up through OVW at one time. And that's what got me into looking at indie wrestlers and seeing what was going down at OVW. And so-and-so disappeared. Oh, they went down to OVW to work on themselves. Mm-hmm. And then they come back and it was so much better. And I noticed that things changed when it became OVW was no longer the training ground. It went to FCW. And I saw a decline. until Dusty took over. And
Right.
Dusty, Dusty was a legend in Florida. He was FCW champion a long time ago. He took over in Florida. Then we get NXT, which turned out to be his baby, and he took it. He cultivated. He raised it. When he passed, Triple H came in and scooped it up and said, "I'm gonna continue what Dusty does now." Triple H gets all of the credit now, but he always gives the credit to Dusty,
And rightfully so.
and I love that.
But when
I
Triple
love
H
that.
got called up into the main office, no disrespect to Shawn Michaels, but as Vince, as we talked about it, got his hand in the game. We're not cultivating like we used to. Now they're trying to get back to that. But I'm sorry, I'm still not like Braun Breaker's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm not invested in Braun Breaker. Like I said, the best thing in I'd say NXT right now, Carmelo Hayes. I don't need the side guy, his heater. I don't even know what the hell his name is. Yep, that's about it. Because the only other person was Mandy Rose.
And they let her go over some bull.
I'm thinking. I mean, I know people. There's some women down there, and there's some men down there, but sorry. There's one other. I'm still a Jinder Mahal fan.
Okay, I'll give you Jinder because I've been calling for him for another title run for the longest.
Why would I watch
it? Here's the thing. Now tell me if I'm wrong, and this goes for everybody listening. Tell me if I'm wrong. The worst thing that happened to NXT, COVID. Because when they had Triple H running everything, you had Tommaso Ciampa, you had Adam Cole, Keith Lee. You had all these players in the game, and everything was working very, very well. And then when COVID hit and everybody was in one building and Vince took over, he blew Keith Lee's move to the main roster. He blew that. I don't understand how you got him on this pay-per-view where he wins both belts. He already has one. He wins the NXT championship after winning the North American championship. And you blew the transition. Cut your beard. Change your music. We're going to do this. Oh, now we're going to call you Bearcat. It was already written. Just leave it alone. But it wasn't only him. You ruined Shotzi Blackheart. You ruined, who else did we ruin? Because it was a whole list. We talked about it. But you ruined so many of the NXT talent that were called up to the main roster. Seemed like as soon as they got to the main roster, nothing. You ruined them. If Vince would have kept his hand out of that and said, do your thing. But when they come up, I need them to continue this white hot streak. I guarantee you, Keith Lee and everybody else will still be with WWE, and the daggone main roster will be even better than what it is now.
Well, it's been a two-part. A, they would have, come up, but B, you should still have had Paul Heyman running SmackDown. Because the transition from NXT and how white hot they were to Heyman SmackDown, you wouldn't have lost anything. It would have only prospered. Then they could have went to Raw because they had a base and it was opened up to everybody else.
But you should have kept
Roman now.
You could have kept Bischoff at Raw.
Well, Raw could be in flux, because that's just how the show is. But with Roman, he's so white hot. Fox is like, hey, he needs to be on our turf. We're gonna pay you extra. Then he can show up on USA and all that stuff from time to time. But this is our guy. We're gonna make sure that he has he's in God mode.
Well, so, I got no argument because I mean you spitting straight facts, so I have no argument. So
yeah, Goldberg, Edge, 1-on-1 for your Nintendo. Next year's WrestleMania Night 1 main event.
I like it. Now, if it happens, remember you heard it here first.
And that could be the beginning of Edge's farewell tour as well.
I agree. March the 4th, 2023. On the Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs. You heard it here first. Now, moving on to a serious topic. Sonya Deville was arrested in New Jersey, Atlantic City, I believe it was, on a gun possession charge because she went to a hotel, valeted her car, and the valet found a gun in her glove box and called the police. Now, I said this when it came out. Everybody was commenting on social media about it. And I'm going to say it again. What the fuck were you doing in her glove compartment? Number one, you had no business in her glove compartment unless you were snooping. And you had no business there. So to that valet, man, woman, whatever you are the Bama and the weakest link. You are the Bama of the weak and the weakest link.
We get that straight up huggy low down.
Here's what I don't understand.
Shout out, DC.
What I don't understand is now, considering what she went through, if you think back, remember she had a home intruder before. What was that, last year?
2 years ago.
It was 2 years already?
The court date and all that stuff, but all that stuff was about 2 years ago because it was happening during COVID.
Dude breaks into her house, stalking her, breaks into her house. She's carried a gun ever since then. She's basically got the mindset, I'm not going to be a victim. You're not going to scare me into the point that I can't live my life, and I have no problem with that. Two things that come to mind. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You want to stalk somebody and think they're not going to do nothing about it? You're playing a stupid game and you're going to win a stupid prize. The second thing that comes to mind, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And that's basically what she's saying. Keep fucking around and I'm going to let you find out.
But that also gets the word out. So it kind of works in her benefit because people know she's packing. So that they keep them away. But, truthfully, the company, the valet company, they getting sued.
Yes. And I hope she sues the brakes off of them.
And then I would also sue the individual.
Yes.
And he needs to that's invasion of privacy or whatever. Because, nothing in there says, I'm quite sure, nothing in that valet contract that says when I get your ticket that you're allowed to go through my trunk and anything else. Why, like you said, why are you in my glove box?
Of all places.
It's an expensive car, so I guarantee you it's not like it's a clunker that the glove box, when you hit the little bump, is going to open up. So if it's secured, it's in a place, and stuff like that, you shouldn't be touching.
And me as a manager, and I know you have way more managerial experience than me. Your employee comes to you and say, hey, I found a gun in this glove box. What should I do? Close it and shut the fuck up. It ain't none of your business. You're not supposed to be in there. Why were you in there?
Yep.
We're going to have ourselves a talk. Come here, sign this right up.
What do you call a male Karen?
Unfortunately, it's either a Ken or a Kevin. It's one or the other. But
that's all that was. That's all that was. Because if you didn't tell your boss, then that's what you were doing. Because why are you calling the police and not telling your boss you're calling the police?
Yeah. Whatever happened to chain of command?
Yeah. Like, we're not doing that no more?
Nah, apparently not. Apparently we snooping through people's stuff and then getting them in trouble. So here's the thing. She has a license for the gun, but the gun is registered in Florida and not New Jersey.
Now, the issue I have is why is she transporting it when she don't have a license for it? Now that's on her.
Hold on.
She will have to pay the fine for that one.
Hold on. But here's the thing. We don't know if the gun was in a case. Was it loaded? No, it does matter because when you transport a gun across state lines, you can't have the ammo and the actual weapon in the same compartment. So if she had bullets in the trunk, but the gun itself was in the glove box, she free and clear because she can transport it to state as much as she want because it's not loaded. She's good.
But if it was loaded,
then that's different. You got to pay that fine.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, this is one of those times where I know it's going to sound crazy. I wish Vince was in full charge because Vince can make a couple phone calls behind the scenes. Wouldn't even hear about this.
Yeah,
good.
But
now the company going to have there's going to be some issues, but we good.
Here's something that I don't
have the government connections.
Let me rephrase. I not that I don't agree with. Here's something I would like to see happen. Knowing what she's already been through with the stalker, and that wasn't the first stalker. That was just the one that they caught. Knowing what she's already been through and that trauma, you know why she carries a gun now. Knowing that, hey, look, I'm gonna need you to do 36 hours of community service and pay this $250 fine. Don't let it happen again.
You don't even need to be community service. Just donate to some you know victim issue. I don't know, with guns, something like that.
You can
Whatever.
donate. I'll take that too. But it doesn't need to be something that's blown out of proportion. Like, she actually was arrested and booked. I am pissed about that. Like,
Straight up BS. But again, that she gonna get paid on the back end.
yeah. And for a second there, when I read the article, I thought it was a work. I was like, oh, this is a work. What are they getting ready to do with her? What are they getting ready to do with her? And then I read more. I was like, oh no, this is actually real. This is, outside of kayfabe.
Right.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So whatever they decide to do, and she, if I'm not mistaken, she lives in Florida, but she's from New Jersey. Whatever they decide to do, I don't think it needs to be any stiff penalty that carries some sort of astronomical punishment or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it be what it's going to be. Give her the fine and let her go.
She's a solid lawyer that could, just litigate that, and then she needs to transition from the gun to one of those tasers that shoot out the leads into the body.
Yeah.
That'll she can have a couple of those in different positions. They're locked. That you have them. You have to arm it and all that stuff and charge it, whatever. So it's not like somebody just gonna touch it. Zzz,
yeah.
Unless you that dumb. So she transitioned to that. Her travel is maybe have it with some of the boys. She start rolling with Rhea and the crew or something like that with Judgment Day. Providing she's not some crazy person and just being ill to other people. And everybody cool. She robbed the New Day, somebody else.
But I think she was on her personal time. This wasn't going to show the show. This is personal time, I think.
Still, just change up the travel plans, because that's gonna make her a target. And it's sad to say that opens up a lot of issues for valets and that trying to do the right thing. Everything can be looked at with this, because it's gonna set a precedent across the board. So it's one of those times where one person messes it up for everybody, and that person ain't Sonya. It's the valet going in there doing something you're not supposed to do.
That was a punk move. I want to say that was a punk
move. They can lose contracts at other places because celebrities show up. If there was a contract at the Staples Center, you know what I'm saying? LeBron would be like, "Nah, you ain't valet my car today because y'all like to go in my glove compartment." You know what I'm saying? Some NBA player or whatever doing something naughty and they don't want their wife to know. I don't need no valet going through seeing something in my glove box. Can't use that company. Y'all out of this stadium. Y'all out of this arena. So
I agree. Next topic. Eddie Kingston quits AEW. Work or shoot.
That's a word.
Now, what this says is he quit AEW to get away from disgusting egomaniacs.
That's everywhere. Where else are you going? You can't. I'm like, dude, you can't go to WWE.
You can't go to Amazon.
They just Eddie Kingston is great on the mic, but AEW needs to give him he needs to get the win more often than not. And that's where he was white hot, but everybody's white hot at AEW, and then what I'm saying, they ruin that. That's like Tony Khan's modus operandi. Like, hey man, this person's organically just through the roof. Oh, for real? Let me just kind of book them wrong or just not put them on the show. So I say,
i.e., Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose,
Wardlow. I don't know how you screw up Wardlow, but yet no disrespect to her, but we're catering and putting everything on Jade Cargill. But the second coming of Goldberg was Wardlow.
But
The best power bomb in the business right now is Wardlow. Second coming of Kevin Nash.
hmm,
Jay Cargill's still learning, but you protected and you John Cena'd her streak. Because
forced it
we've
down
already talked
everybody's
about it.
throat.
There is nobody to beat her. Nobody in that roster. Nobody. The best feud you possibly had was her and Swole. But y'all screwed that up too.
Here's my
First
thing.
best was Nyla Rose. Screwed that up too. Third best, well, unfortunately, you're not going to put them together. Would have been Britt Baker.
And that's what I've been calling for.
All you're going to do is all they've done is had them walk by each other on the ramp. Come on now. You're not
That's
going
what
to
I've
let
been calling
Britt
for,
champion
man.
right now. Buy for the other belt. There's 2 belts for women. But yet Britt's just going to be in the background while Jamie Hayter's out there going ham. Why would you not have Britt go for the other belt and they have both belts at the same time in the same group? I'm sorry, last I checked, isn't that what happens in stables?
Yeah.
How many belts does the Jericho Appreciation Society have?
I mean,
Version 1.
think about this. You have not only the excuse me. You not only have uh a stable with multiple belts, you put a women's tag team championship in there. Use the free bird rule and go for it. It's so
They
many
got enough
options.
women. Like, I'm tired of seeing people on AEW Dark. The best that they got was Willow Nightingale. It's probably the best one to come out of AEW Dark thus far. But everybody else, nothing.
Don't get me started on AEW Dark.
I don't even know when the hell to come on to watch it. I just see a clip once in a while on Abaddon's Twitter feed or something like that. So I don't even know where the hell you watch it at.
Here's the thing, and I've said this before. I've said this to you. I've said it to the Nubian Sumo. I even said it to the Midnight Rider. We talk about AEW Dark, right? You got, and I've advocated for Sonny Kiss since he came to AEW. Why is he not on the main roster? You could run with that right now. You could run with that.
Sonny Kiss actually would be the only person to beat Jay Cargill right now.
That's all I'm saying. You got something there. If I can see it, I know everybody else
against
can.
each other. Oh my God, would be amazing. How much? I can't say it that way either. I get me too. But how much? Girl, hunty. You know what I'm saying? That's all that would be, and it would be hilarious. It'd be awesome. I'd pay for that.
See what I'm saying?
And I've been Sonny Kiss would wear versus the outfit Jay would wear. I'd be one part like what the hell, and the other part, wow. But
you got to know how to play
it. It would be must-see TV. It'd be pushing the envelope, not pushing the envelope with how many times you're gonna say the F word. Not pushing the envelope. Moxley is trying to outbleed Ric Flair.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't.
You can't win that one.
If you look at Ric Flair, look around this area on Ric Flair, right at the hairline. He has all scar tissue right here.
God damn. Flair would bleed more than half the country's women on periods. You know what I'm saying? That's like, it's a Flair match. It's not a Flair match if he ain't bleeding.
Exactly.
He's bleeding. We're good. It's going to be a good one.
Exactly.
You know, God dang. That fool was more crimson than a Marvel character.
And this is the thing that I'm talking about. If we can see these things, why is it nobody else can see? Why is it that the people that are in charge can't see what we are seeing? This is why you have to listen to your fan base.
And you bums didn't want to listen to me when I said it. You bums didn't believe me 2.5 years ago. I said, you know what's happening? Y'all talking about Vinnie Mac. Y'all talking about Vince. Who's turning into Vince McMahon, even though he was saying we supposed to be anti-Vince? It's Tony Khan. No, No, he ain't doing that. He ain't doing that. I said, yes, he is. I was the only one saying it. You and James were like, no, that ain't true. Now who's Vince now?
Okay. You got it. I have no argument because I do remember that. I do remember that and letting you down that mountain alone. I said,
Yep.
that's the hill you're gonna die on because I'm not
Right.
going there with you.
Who's the Vince now? All he's doing is pulling out Vinnie Mac's playbook.
It's true.
So the problem now is, it was it really Vince, or is it the parameters that you have to put yourself in to run the show?
It's not even the parameters. I can't give you that because Vince is such a control freak. And sometimes it's brilliant, other times it's just overbearing.
See,
With
but
with Tony
there's another
Khan,
one y'all left me to die on too. I've reminded y'all that the difference between AEW and WWE is WWE is a television show. AEW is a wrestling show. WWE is like Law and Order.
yes, I'll
We
give
got
you
we
that.
got this archetype. We're gonna do it this way. We got to make sure the camera's there and this and this and that. Lights glitch. We got to FCC this. We got to do that. We got to watch out for the sponsors and what I'm saying, blah 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 blah. It's like an episode of Law and Order or a major television show. That is what they are producing. Every time they say the longest episodic weekly television show of all time, they're not saying wrestling show. They're not
Nope.
saying sports entertainment show. They say television show of all time. AEW is WCW. They were producing wrestling. So we're going to let them say what they want to say. We're going to do this over the top stuff. We're going to work this out and do all that and, have some liberties. But now that comes with a problem, Tony Khan, because you let the inmates run the asylum. Now the inmates are having 4 or 5 brawls in the back. One of them, you lost your largest draw potential superstar ever in the company. Then you have, what I'm saying, people cursing up a storm while your daggone network representatives are there. Got a problem there. Now we got to, okay, we can't say the F bomb that much. Oh, by the way, half your roster is injured. So if you wanted to push somebody, you can't because they hurt.
But here's the
Because
thing.
you're not managing that. But yet
And
you up for 8 hours writing shows 3 months from now and putting this together. And, Jim Cornette says it all the time. He playing with his adult action figures, but he's hurting people and hurting the business more. And that's why Cody left. The number one storyteller left. So you can't rest the company on Jericho. Jericho did his part in the beginning. He got
yes,
people to watch. Mission
and
accomplished. He don't have to do no more. All he got to do is just show up and do his little, he's almost like, I can't say that. God dang, some stuff I want to say because I'll get in some serious trouble. But I'll say this because I'm a huge Jericho fan. He like the white Sambo. He go out there. He done his thing. Everybody say some Judas, and he out. That's all he got to do because people are already watching. So Jericho don't need to be. He's not the focal point. The people that you had as the focal point, without Cody helping really guide things along, who's really watching for the Young Bucks? Now, granted, they had some awesome spots and they doing some team moves that we haven't seen anymore. So if you go back and watch, you're like, man, that was pretty smart. I never thought about that transition or whatever. Kenny Omega is his own person, so Kenny can still do it under the right circumstances. But that's all you got.
no Hangman Adam Page.
Sting's not wrestling, and everybody else is injured.
Yeah, exactly. And
And
that's my thing. How long is it going to be before you start going to AEW Dark? You had this large roster. It's not as large as WWE, but you have a large roster, all this talent, and you use maybe that much of this
do
much
you want
talent.
him to touch it? Because then guess
I
what's
don't
going to happen?
I don't want him to touch anything. Sit back, count the money, and just write the checks. This is where when you're a CEO, when you
You
are a
told Vince
manager, when
McMahon
you
that
are a
too.
boss, you bring in people that are smarter than you to work for you.
Exactly. It is the challenge, and for people to think we just talking crazy. Titan Towers is a big old building with a lot of people in it. How many people are running AEW in whatever office space that they have? I didn't say building dedicated to that one thing. I said office space because that office space belongs to who? The Jacksonville Jaguars. So football here, a little bit down the hallway, wrestling. Vince McMahon, big old building with the logo on it. It's not. Vince may have done some crazy things. You may not agree with the blah blah blah, but Vince is running things on a level that is totally different from AEW. And Tony Khan is discovering that he has to start pleasing the network because, as Bischoff said, what good is WCW without TV rights? He lost Turner. Where's he going to broadcast it at?
Yeah.
There's no need in buying it. What do I need WCW for if I can't buy it? Basically, I'm about to make Ring of Honor back then. And Ring of Honor wasn't on a national syndicated show on major network television.
Mm. See, you just
So
brought up something else.
don't need it.
This is the thing. Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor now, right? He's opened the forbidden door with Impact Wrestling. You had that forbidden door open for a while, right? You could have fostered so many relationships that when your wrestlers started getting hurt, you could have brought people from Ring of Honor. You could have brought people from Impact to fill in and do something. You could have had a three-way something going on, and you bullshit and you blow it. Like that's the part that upsets me. That's the part that makes me mad because you fucking blew it.
Because I said that to y'all back then when I started seeing the transition of talent.
Mm.
I liked seeing the flow and all the different levels and walks of wrestling life on Dynamite. We saw Sunny Kiss. We had Sunny Kiss, and then we saw Emi Sakura. You know what I'm saying? We had Rio, and then we had Abaddon. You know what I'm saying? We had Nyla Rose, and then we had Britt Baker. But it was so many different moving pieces to the puzzle, so many different, it's like going to the ice cream place, Baskin Robbins. You got a lot of ice cream to choose from. Yeah, that maybe I don't like mint and chocolate chip, so I'm not gonna get that one. Yeah, I'm not a Thin Mints guy. No, I can't eat that. But that means I got 30 other flavors. Still walking to Baskin Robbins. Now I'm walking into, you know what I'm saying, 15 flavors is all Thin Mints or mint chocolate chip. And I got 15 other flavors, but some of those I really don't care for.
It's all butter pecan. That's the other 15.
Oh, well, I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like butter pecan.
Oh my God! But you won't eat mint chocolate chip, but you'll eat butter pecan. What is wrong with you?
And I eat a lot. Trust me, my taste buds is crazy. I just don't like the mint. It's
That's the best part. The mint and the chocolate chips.
People do it, man.
Oh my God, I love mint chocolate chip. Next to mint chocolate chip and moose trap.
I don't know how to do it. So Tony Khan, he did it to himself.
Yes.
And then when he let Cody go, that you could have lost anybody. You don't lose one of the people that was the heart and soul of the reason why you were doing it. Not Kenny Omega, not the Young Bucks. We all knew Cody was that man got whipped for you.
Yeah.
Whipped.
You know what? Before that came out that the Khans actually were the owners, didn't we all thought that Cody owned AEW. We thought this was his. We thought this was his baby.
All four of them put money together and made it. And,
that's what we thought.
But we know who the hell Tony Khan was until we like Shad Khan football, like whatever. They got a TV deal. All right, I guess that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Jaguars helped get a TV deal, whatever. We wrote them off because it didn't matter.
Exactly. Because we thought this was Cody's baby.
So they worked us on that one.
Big
and
time.
Then Cody dipped, and the storylines went down too. The only thing, and it's sad because, well, it's not sad. It's smart. MJF started writing on the wall. It was like, hold on, this thing going down a little bit. I'm now the best option they got, and I'm just gonna be honest about it and tell people.
And they still don't even use him right.
And then they take him off TV, and what did happen? Ratings drop. Gotta bring him back because
All the
guess
way.
who was getting mad? The network.
Exactly. The thing is, you could have rode. This thing was set up where you could have rode Jericho's coattails for at least a few years. You didn't have to put the belt on, but you could have rode his coattails because he was so over. When he did that cruise and they turned the music off and the whole crowd sung Judas word for word, you had him in the palm of your hand. You had everything and you pissed it away.
I'm
You
a,
pissed it the fuck away.
I'm gonna blow your mind, and then we could change to the next topic or wrap it up, whatever it is. AEW in the beginning was set up so good. If it would have continued, they would have left that alone, and Cody and all that stuff wouldn't have happened, and CM Punk would have came and all that. It would have been so good that the WWE would have not even cared about what Vince did. He would still be in power because they need Vince to beat AEW. Triple H ain't good enough. He would have pulled a Donald Trump. He would have walked out. Mr. McMahon did it, and then walked back, and he would have business as usual because we're at war with AEW. They would have called it the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday Night Wars. People would instantly forget of what this like. So what? Here's some money. Go leave us alone. Shareholders would be like, no, need Vince. Network would be like, no, need Vince.
Mm-hmm.
We losing a ratings war. Can't do that because we're gonna start losing sponsorships. Can't do that. Vince, make it right. Pay them off. You need some of our money. We don't care. Just get our ratings back.
Mm.
Shoot, we may have had Stone Cold every night.
Yeah.
Sean, you're gonna have to wrestle. I mean, I'm saying it would have been a 911 situation. COVID would have happened. Oh, they've been had every legendary Sergeant Slaughter be out there if need be. You know what I'm saying? Doing, jumping Jackson, hanging out with Jinder Mahal, calling him the next Iron Sheik. Who knows what it'd have been? All the stops to beat AEW because WWE for the first time would have been up against the ropes because AEW was set up in such a way that it was beating NXT outside of pay-per-views, and then it was beating the main roster.
Yeah.
Roman would have lost the belt at some point sooner than he's about to. He would have even come close because they would have needed to transition to somebody else.
Say it again. Say it again.
But guess who decided to look at Vinnie Mac's playbook and start doing what he was doing because he realized, as much as he talked about, well, we're not going to do this like them. I'm not Vince McMahon, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. This is how Vince McMahon's running their business? Okay, network. We're going to have to make some changes, y'all. I'm going to have to start doing this all myself. Sorry, Cody. Technically, y'all EVPs entitled, y'all ain't got no power. How you come out and say that? Just like this, Ariel Hawani, you as realistic of a journalist as Tony Schiavone. How you put down your own people to put down somebody else? Your own people?
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yes.
That's like you might as well just put Jim Ross' name in there. How you put down your own people to put down somebody else?
Because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Call a spade a spade. I don't know what I'm doing.
Guess what the last company that had people in it that didn't know what they were doing but was running a wrestling business was called? There you go, historian James. The NWA. Ask Ric Flair to talk about Jim Herd when people that's coming in that's running, these other big businesses want to jump in there and think they can run the wrestling business. How hellish was that? How many people, how many superstars we had at the WCW back then? They had people, but they know what to do with them.
Exactly.
They had random people booking. There was a different booking, Oli booking this week, and we just need to figure something out. Then here came along Bischoff. Hey guys, I got an idea. Let me do it. Rest was history. WCW would still be flourishing if AOL Time Warner would have got involved. All they had to do was say, hey, what do we have on our network? Reruns of Law and Order? Well, that's about it. Oh, and this wrestling thing that is, bringing us boatloads of money. Let's get rid of the wrestling thing. What the hell?
It makes no sense. It didn't make sense then. It don't make sense now. And we're talking 20 years later. Well, actually, a little over 20 years.
Well, what they doing now? Hey guys, we should bring back wrestling. Why is that? Because people tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. Hello, MTV. Much as I love Rob Dyrdek and ridiculousness, can we get some other stuff on a music network?
Well, I stopped watching.
Hey BET, can y'all have some actual, black ownership again?
Oh yeah, no. Can you show something other than Baby Boy? 35 times in a weekend. MTV, yeah. When MTV took off, MTV Raps and TRL, yeah. When BET took off 106 in Park and Video Link and Cedar's World,
yeah.
And what was the Midnight Love?
Mm-hmm.
After we got off of ESPN Zone, every night that I worked, I lied to you not. I got home and I would watch Midnight Love. I watched the rerun of Midnight Love at 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't go to bed until I heard Carl Thomas, I Wish, Where I Want to Be by Donnell Jones. They used to play those videos back to back at that time. That was 2000. They played those back to back. I couldn't go to bed until I had listened to both of them. And then I would go to bed like, all right, I'm gone to bed. But this is the thing. You see what's going on. You wonder, well, why are we losing money and ratings? Why are we not getting sponsorships? But all you got to do is open up your Twitter feed. Type in your brand name, your name of your brand, and see what people are saying. See what the fans are saying. What they don't like, what they do like, what they want to see more of. You have to cater to your consumer. That is how big business works.
With some people that know what they're doing.
Well, that too.
And it doesn't always have to be Eric Bischoff.
No.
It doesn't have to, it could be Jim Cornette.
It could be.
If you were smart, you would, kind of say, hey, Dad, need about $100 million. Why is that, son? There's this guy over there named Paul Heyman. I'm going to lace his pockets. And that's just the guaranteed money. You get Paul Heyman and AEW,
it's over.
Run and drive it, done.
It's over.
Done.
But you know what they would do? Instead of getting Paul Heyman, you know what they would do? They go get Dave Meltzer.
He was listening to him. He already had him. Dave was telling Tony what to do. He would say, hey, Tony, that's not a good idea. And his, observer things. And then Tony was listening to Dave Meltzer already. Shoot, Tony's one desperation away from listening to what's his name that said he created the Attitude Era. Vince Russo. He one click away from that, and we saw what happened at WCW with Russo and what's his name showed up.
But see, no, is it? I still think it's
Bless Her Little Heart still probably up on the thing.
I still think Russo was a plant. I still think he was a plant. I believe that with my heart of hearts. He was a plant. He was a plant to take down WCW.
WCW was already down at that point.
No, they were still. Russo came over and doing the 83-week run, wasn't it?
No, it was at the end of it.
Oh, okay. But when he came over, they had started losing.
They was trying to recoup and give you that, oh my gosh, they got another, New York guy. It's like NWO coming all over again. Russo wasn't the guy. Because Russo, his ideas, he needed a funnel, which was Vince.
And Pritchard, Bruce Pritchard.
Well, Bruce was good to an extent too, but Vince was the like, no, we ain't doing that.
Yeah, and they said in WCW, it wasn't no. It's like, oh yeah, let's do that.
It's dumb after dumb after dumb after dumb after dumb.
Jesus. Well,
Like I
I,
said, we got AEW. I'd give it. They got a year and a half because in a year and a half, if there's no true contract extension for MJF, a year and a half, we're gonna start hearing. Here's what they offered me on AEW television. It's gonna get real compelling
mm,
because MJF is gonna give us what we wish would have happened had they would have raised the gates when DX was there at the Georgia Dome. MJF is gonna give us that.
and I heard something about that. Was it Nash that said it?
Yeah, they were on the other side.
Yeah, and they was like, open the gates. They was like, do you understand how big this could be for everybody? Open the gates. The hell with WCW, WWF. How
Oh,
big this is for wrestling.
WWF would have it would have been 166 weeks, or something like that, because Eric Bischoff would have let them come out and given them a hot mic and told the network, you are not going to commercial. Let them drive up, let them be in there. Because at that point, they have no connection to Vince if they are in live television. Vince, if for the first time, is going to have to watch my product himself because his boys is on it. And there's no social media. Who had a flip phone on him? The cameraman? You're
Maybe.
useless because you're not in the Jeep.
Exactly.
So DX is going to have to come off the dome. But guess who else is here? Hall and Nash. Oh, so the Click is going to supersede DX. But then again, Hogan's here. Just mind blown.
What could have been? It's like a man. We can go all night about that.
Man, if I could time travel, I'd say, Eric, I'm gonna give you this gem. It's like it was on Frozen. Open the gates.
What
Let
does
the
that
people in.
mean? What does that mean? Don't worry about what it means. When the time comes, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Open the gates.
Open the gates.
Mm.
Man.
Well, let's go ahead and go home. We were gonna go somewhere else, but let's go ahead and go home. We can go home with this. First and foremost, really, really quick. Chris Jericho said he's never going to return to WWE.
He
He said he's
will.
never coming back.
He's going to the Hall of Fame, and he'll take it.
I think he would.
Jericho says things just to make sure he's relevant enough. Jericho will go into the Hall of Fame. And the precedent is already laid. Why? Because the Ultimate Warrior's in the Hall of Fame.
No,
Macho Man's in the Hall of Fame.
but here's the thing. Chris Jericho has a resume in WWE alone that makes him a Hall of Famer. He's the first undisputed champion.
There would be no Attitude Era without Chris Jericho.
Really?
Can't be.
The Attitude Era was already in full swing when he came over. I'm sorry.
There was that much that was happening with Jericho that was so iconic. And, we talk about Attitude Era all day long.
Yes.
But come on. I ain't got to say nothing else. Nothing else. You see the look on your face?
Of course. I mean, that's the first song on WWE,
like
WWF the Music Volume 4.
All I had to do was just the beginning part.
That countdown to Y2J, that countdown alone was iconic. Oh, wow.
Never could be duplicated again.
The Midnight Rider said Jericho put over a ballroom dancer.
Shoot, Jericho put over damn everybody. Almost over.
Jericho deserves to be in the Hall of Fame just because not only him, and I'm going to say this even though it's kind of off subject, Jericho, D'Lo Brown are two that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame because of what they did inside the ring. D'Lo Brown being the first European Intercontinental Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And he took the European Championship and gave it to Mark Henry. But everybody always recognizes Kurt Angle as the first Euro Intercontinental Champion. No, D'Lo did it first.
Yep. And D'Lo's contributions behind the scene. I mean, D'Lo was just a man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He's one of the best workers that they had, period.
What's crazy?
Stacy Keebler going in as the first announcement. I'm cool with that because let's be more. You know.
Nah, what's crazy is hearing D'Lo Brown talk as opposed to him. No, I'm sorry, hearing AC Connor talk as opposed to hearing D'Lo. It's a total difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember they said one time he's a CPA. Oh, my man got money. He got money. And this is another reason why I wish they bring back Table of Three, because you get to see a different side of three people
Everybody.
in the business.
Yep.
And that Table of Three that they did with the Nation, with
Mark Henry,
Mark Henry,
and
D'Lo,
Bob
and
Barker.
Ron. Yeah. Yeah, no.
Well, they did two.
They did too.
Yeah, because the second one, Ron wasn't there. The first one,
Right.
Ron was there.
Yeah. Because The Rock sent him a autographed picture again.
No, I'm
He said
sorry.
he always getting me. But to hear not only the Godfather, but D'Lo, they got major decisions to make. They call Ron Simmons. And they call him to talk to him and see, what he feels. And he's still guiding the younger generation. I wish he was around NXT a lot more for that very reason. Just so you can say, you know what, I'm gonna go up and talk to Ron today. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna go in my career. I want to go up and talk to Ron for a little bit.
Now, I would be surprised. I would hope that would be something Omos would do. I'm still high on Omos. I think he has the world in front of him. AJ Styles helped him to the bigger stage and to understand how to move and do things. He lost the Big Show to AEW because he really needed the Big Show to help him continue to hone the big man thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really nobody there to teach him that. If he links up into the Hurt business, then I think he can really start riding with, Bobby and, put Shelton Benjamin back in there and stuff. They're talking about Carmelo Hayes, who'll benefit from it. Riding around, having that in your ear, and building the match and doing exactly what he needs to do. That's why Brock, I think, is going to help Omos as well, because he's going to teach him how to be larger than life and move in that ring and do stuff to really make it impactful. Once he gets that, man, because his interviews of just talking, he's a cool guy. He can articulate and stuff like that. He's been through a lot. He's got a hell of a story. So unfortunately, he can never be a babyface because who's going to be the heel above him?
That's true.
In height, but when he has to tell those stories in Black History Month or be a star, he can do that. But man, once he gets it right, and people hate him like people hated Jinder Mahal, people hate him like they hate Baron Corbin, not because he's a bad guy, but because that character is so disgusting. You just want to punch him in his throat.
And you know what that means?
And he's
That
only
means
3 years in the game, 2 years.
that
in the
means
game?
he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. If you feel that he's doing exactly what he was supposed to be doing, which is one of the reasons why I couldn't stand Baron Corbin. We had plenty of discussions about that. And I said, it's great that I can't stand him because I'm not supposed to. I can't stand his ass. But he's doing what he's supposed to do. This lets me know that he knows the assignment, he understood it, and he took care of it.
Yep. So I'm hoping that him and Brock can get some time to rehearse, because that match, if done correctly, is going to put Omos on the map. He doesn't have to win it. Brock's going to win it with the F5. Take maybe 6 or 7 of them. But if told right and written, I know I say written, but produced well, that could be maybe about 15 minutes.
And that's exactly what I was thinking. A good 15 minutes to do it.
And I'd have them start, and you wouldn't expect it, but I'd have them lock up collar and elbow, and then it would become a wrestling match. Just for a few minutes.
Yeah. Then it turns into a brawl.
Show that I got a different level. I can do something different. And they positioning around and doing all the different moves and transitions, something that you wouldn't see from him because there's nobody that could move his body in the way that Brock could. And then the chop will come in and Brock will go down. It wouldn't be a pin, but it will be that, oh snap, he just checked Brock with a chop. And then, Brock's going to have to, work his way up, which will get, again, let Brock show that he can hulk up and do all those things and really get the people invested. Omos is looking larger than life, bigger than life. It could be a swerve thing where Bobby shows up and costs him the match as payback, but something, or it could be, oh snap, they could give us the oh snap moment. We would think that, Brock's going to have him up. He's going to spin him around, but Omos comes down, lands on his feet, grabs him, choke slam, 1, 2, 3, and Omos wins. Nobody would expect that.
I wasn't expecting you to say that, but
the place would go unglued.
Yeah, it would.
But then again, we're at the age where else can you give us that unscripted, unexpected moment? In the age of social media, those are the times where you got to make a WrestleMania moment that nobody would expect. Because if we was to book it right now or, do our picks, I'm going to pick Brock.
Yeah.
But if Omos wins, what? How? Can't believe it. Kind of like, what was that? When Brock beat Cena?
Yeah.
And you're just like, what?
When Brock beat The Undertaker.
No, yeah. That's the one. That's the one. Because, we all knew what that was. Like, streak continuing. Let's just go ahead and get to the finish. We know what this is going to be. What?
Exactly.
And won. The hell? Guess who can't do that? Tony Khan. Because Jay beat everybody. Just saying.
Well,
he could do it. It'd have to be a mystery opponent. Can't be Bianca showing up.
Jordan Grace.
Nah.
Physically,
yes. Jordan's not a big enough name. It wouldn't be believable. Wouldn't be believable.
Well, I don't want her to. I don't really want her to beat Jade anyway. I would rather her and Jade team up and just kick everybody's ass. But it's different.
Mickey James, I'm with
maybe.
That.
Yeah.
Because she's a champion right now.
You got Deonna Purrazzo.
Nope.
No.
Not big enough name. I mean, it needs to be somebody on the level of Lex Luger showing up to Nitro.
Raka Khan.
Possibly.
Shit. If Awesome Kong wasn't retired, I'd say Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
That's a big enough name. And straight squash. Like, don't know what happened.
Actually, nope. Let's just stop. There's only one. I'm surprised you ain't think of it. It just came to me. There's only one name that, man, the internet would go nuts in disbelief that she would have showed up. Come on now.
I'm waiting.
Come on now.
Because it ain't who I think it is. So go ahead.
Come on now.
Come on.
Who you think it is?
I know who it ain't. I know who it ain't.
Who?
We not gonna say Nia.
Why not?
That's who you talking about?
Nobody would expect it.
No.
If she would have done it, she would have done it by now.
Yeah.
She showed up at Royal Rumble. And I guess that was it. So she's showing that she can still be active.
Yeah.
Nia walks in on an open challenge. Somebody from the back come in.
She looked good too. Just want to let that be known.
Huh?
She looked good too. She lost a lot of weight.
No music. She just walks out. Jay's just like, oh hell no. Telling the ref, no. She don't work here. Or the line, she don't even go here.
The Bianca Belair, you don't even go here.
No. But the ref's like, that's what it needs to be. You call this open challenge. She's still not trying to do it. This is where Tony can come out and be the guy. Jay, it's open challenge. You called it. We advertised it. Match is on. Ring the bell. All you see is bow, bow. 1, 2, 3. And then Nia walks out. She may call it a B word. This is my house now, B. And walk out.
Social media will have a fucking fit.
Oh, fit. But that's the level that somebody needs to be to walk in there and take that belt off of Jade. Anybody else, I would feel disrespected. Does she even have a match tomorrow night?
I don't even know. I didn't even look at the
I hope
card.
not. Because for what? Like I was mad when they broke up the baddies to have her face Red Velvet. Like she kicked that girl so hard. I thought her. You know how in Avengers Endgame when the bald head chick hit David Banner or Bruce Banner and he fell out. Or what I'm saying when he came out and his astral projection came out. I swear I saw that from Red Velvet when she kicked that girl. I saw her whole body just separate from her spirit.
Mm, mm, mm.
Like she kicked that girl until last Thursday. Not next Thursday, last Thursday. She went back to the future.
Mm, mm, mm. Where am I?
Yeah, like, why are you facing this fool again?
Mm.
If it was a small person's game, she may have had a chance. Going up against, what I'm saying, 53 and 0 now, you are not the person. There's
Well,
nobody on that roster that's believable.
they gonna Goldberger, and I
You
mean
have
that
to.
to say that they're
You got a
gonna.
title
It's gonna
card.
be some. It's gonna be some stupid way that she loses. It's gonna be like something dumb to tarnish the streak.
Like MJF beats her. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Just to take the belt. Like, y'all want to call me a B? Now I'm the B with the TBS championship.
Hey,
Who gonna wrestle me? You know what I'm saying? Just something stupid like that would have to happen.
man.
Like -1 would have to beat her. you know,
See, you giving away too much right now because
I'm
you
just,
giving away enough that we don't get paid for that.
I'm just tired of it. It was cool in the beginning because you still had people, but once you've seen it, the entire division, like I said, there's still one other that I think would be good because it would be the old school Jake the Snake Roberts effect, and that would be Abaddon. But she would have to come out with the smoke, boogeyman like, and all that stuff, freak her out. You know what I'm saying? Because remember how the boogeyman used to come in there, we talked, he started his little gyration
Mm-hmm.
on people like Boogie lost his mind, boy. But that thing with him and Booker T and Charmel, priceless. If you could do that with Jade, even if Jade beat her, at least it will put the question mark in there that Abaddon may be able to take that. I can live with something like that. But just for her to come out, yeah, Jade Cargill versus Booker. Well, that person did. Just I can't. You know, I can't. Let's wrap this up, man. See, I'm getting mad.
Yeah, see, look
I'm
at
getting
you.
fucking Tony Khan.
Well, you already know what to do.
Or just pay us. We'll help you book it.
That would be nice.
I'll,
I'll take
I'll,
100 million.
I'll relocate to Jacksonville for that.
Shoot, if the amount of money that I possibly could make, yeah, you're damn right.
Like I'm gonna give you some gems. Just make sure my check is right. You'll be partying it up. And the
Well,
worst part is, like, you'll go to Jaguar game. Hell no.
I
Like, you're here to
agree.
support the team. Like, I'm not here to support the team. I'm here to support this wrestling division. Jaguars ain't paying me.
No, not at all.
So Shad show up, be like, I'm paying you right. Oh man, we gonna be at that game. And so, what? Hail to the Jaguars.
Wow. Mm. Well, thank you all for joining us for this lovely, lovely evening. Be back tomorrow morning, Sunday Rise. But until then, uh, diversify your bonds.
Get you out, bitches.